Hello everyone, today we will look at the proof of Thales theorem, which is also called as basic proportionality theorem, BPT. So what does BPT actually say? Look at this. BPT says that in triangle ABC, that's a given triangle now, okay, if we draw a line parallel to one of the sides, I am going to choose a line parallel to BC here. So DE is the parallel line here, and this line DE is going to divide the remaining two sides. So first we have drawn it parallel to one side, which is BC, right? But automatically there are two more sides, which is that AB and AC. This line DE is going to divide the remaining two sides proportionally. Now question, what is proportionally? Let's have a look at that. So we say that there are two ratios here, and if those two ratios are equal, then we call it as a proportion. A proportion may consist of more than two ratios also. Probably I'll equate this to P by Q, one more ratio. Then also we say this is a proportion. So what is proportion? Two or more ratios which are equal are called as proportional. So how do you apply this idea into the triangle? ABC, where DE is parallel to BC. See, the parallel line is shown by the arrows on DE and BC. It shows that the two lines are parallel. Now, the side AB is cut into two parts, that is AD and BD, right? Similarly, AC is cut into two parts, that is AE and CE. These two sides, if you divide each other, like, see, the first part, AD divided by BD, that is one ratio. The other side, AE by CE, another ratio. These two ratios are equal. What do you mean by ratios equal? They are proportional. So this is what the theorem actually says. So there are two parts in every theorem. The first part is called the hypothesis, which we believe first, which we assume, or we can call it as the given in the theorem. And the second part is called the conclusion. The conclusion is what we have to prove. Every theorem has two parts. What is that? Hypothesis, conclusion. While writing as a proof, we need to follow some steps. You already know how to prove a theorem, right? So the first part is we go for the data or the given. That is nothing but the hypothesis. But writing the hypothesis using symbols is called as given. So let me try to write the hypothesis by using the symbols. So what is that? Given. The hypothesis is, if there is a triangle and you have drawn one line parallel to one of the sides, not all the three, any one, right? So given ABC is a triangle, okay, and the line drawn parallel is DE, good. So DE is parallel to one of the sides. Here I have taken it as BC, right? BC. This much is assumed or given. We assume that it is true. So symbolically written, this is called as given or data. Fine. Now we'll go for the next step to go to prove the conclusion. What is the conclusion that you are supposed to prove? That conclusion, when you write here, we call it as to prove. To prove, or to prove that. This is nothing but the conclusion written using symbols. So to prove, I told you it is two ratios we are talking about. If DE is parallel to one side, what are the remaining two sides? That two sides. Let us concentrate on AB and AC. So AB being divided into AD by, that is BD, should be equal to, on the other side you will find AE by CE. This is what we are supposed to prove. So now there is an optional step in between. There are sometimes theorems which can be proved directly with what is given here, this much, but sometimes you have to prove using some extra construction. So this is an optional step. Construction is an optional step. Whenever you do constructions, just to show that it was built on the given fact later, what we do is we don't use solid lines, we use dotted lines. So now you can look at the diagram. Wherever you see the dotted lines, they are the constructions. So what are the construction necessary here? Join BE and CD, okay, you will come to know why this is done at a later stage. Then draw EM perpendicular to AB Similarly, draw DN perpendicular to AC. These are constructions done at a later stage, so we use dotted lines. Now, let me just write the construction step what we used and in a short way using symbols. So, construction. What is the construction done? Join BE and CD. Right? That's one part. Second part is draw EM perpendicular to AB. Similarly, draw DN perpendicular to AC. Now question is, sir, how do we remember that this is supposed to be done? How do I just get it from mid-air? How do I get it? The idea is we are going to use the idea of areas of triangle. To use areas of triangle, you need base and altitude. So base, any side can be taken as a base. Just to get the altitude or the heights of the triangle, we have done the constructions. So let us go into the most important part of the theorem, that is called the proof. Let us start with the main important step called proof now. Okay. Now, let us have a look at the main diagram now. In this main diagram, observe, you see triangle ABC, right? DE parallel to BC. These all things we already discussed. Now, I want you to concentrate on a certain part of the triangle, that is triangle ABE. If that part is removed separately, what happens? Just have a look at that. You see triangle ABE, right? And concentrate only on these two lines. There is a line DE and then EM, right? Okay. I'm going to rotate the triangle such that AB becomes the base now. Have a look at that, right? Now you can see two triangles there. One is an acute triangle, another one is an obtuse angle triangle. The acute angle triangle is triangle ADE, right? In triangle ADE, what is the height of the triangle? EM becomes the height or the altitude. Look at EM, it is drawn perpendicular to AD, right? Because our construction, we constructed that EM perpendicular to AD, right? Okay. So, if you apply the area of triangle formula here, what does area of triangle? I'll write it as, instead of area full form, I'll write AR. AR stands for area, okay? Area of triangle ADE is equal to, we know area of triangle formula is half into base into height. The base in this case, what is the base? AD, half into AD into the height or the altitude, that is EM, right? Let me call it as equation 1. The NCERT textbook doesn't contain these equation numbers that you can name whenever you want. You can change the naming of the equations, no matter. Now, let's talk about area of another triangle there, that is the obtuse angle triangle called BDE, where angle BDE is an obtuse angle triangle, so the triangle is obtuse angle triangle. And you know that whenever you have an obtuse angle triangle like this, and if this is the base, how do you find the height? Go to the vertex, which is the topmost point. From there, drop a perpendicular. It may not be inside the triangle, it may be outside the triangle, but it should be perpendicular to the base. The base will have to be extended first and then drop a perpendicular. This will be called as the height. So compare this idea with the diagram given. So again you will find that EM is the height once more. So if EM is the height, which is the base? Base is BD. What is the area of triangle BDE? Please pause the video, try to write the formula, then unpause the video and check your answer. Half into BD into the height remains same again, EM, right? So I'll call it equation 2. Divide equation 1 by equation 2. We'll get a ratio. See, we are going for proportion. To get proportion, we need ratio. Which ratio? This will be the first ratio we'll be concentrating. So if I divide equation 1 divided by equation 2, that implies area of triangle ADE divided by area of triangle BDE is equal to half into AD into EM upon half into BD into EM. Anything similar which you can cancel? Anything look similar? Yes, of course. Half and half cancels, right? EM ones are cancel. You are left with, what are you left with? Here you go. You are left with area of triangle AD divided by area of triangle BDE is equal to AD by BD. I'll call this equation 3 probably. Let me repeat again. The numbering of the equation is not same in the textbook. You will have to refer to the textbook once more when you check the numbering. This is a different numbering I am using, right? Now the same thing I am going to apply on another triangle. Let us go to the main triangle once more. Look at the main triangle once more, right? Yeah. This time I want another part from this diagram. Look at ADC. Concentrate on only this point. ADC. So here we are going to take out that part. Sure? Yeah. ADC, if you separate, what do you see in there? You will find a triangle ADC with a line DE in between and a perpendicular line, that is DN, right? Okay. I'm going to rotate that triangle now, okay, such that AC becomes the base, right? In this case now, there are two triangles again there, one being acute, another one being obtuse. I'll separate them. The acute one again is ADA but from a different angle, right? This time AE is the base. So you see AE as the base and you see ADE. Let us apply the same formula. Area of, see when I say AR, it actually means area of, okay? Area of triangle ADE. This time it is half into base. What is the base this time? AE is the base, right? So AE into, what is the height? Height is the DN, right? The perpendicular which we dropped in the construction step, right? That is the DN. So we need to write the reasons for every step, right? So what you can do is, I'm not mentioning the reasons here. In the description I will write it. You can just check the description once. But at every step you are supposed to write the reason. See, every theorem must have a logical reasoning. Every step is a logical reason. So here the two logical reasons. One, what is the area of a triangle is half into base into height. That is one reason. Another, why is it AE? Because AE is the base. Why is DN? Because by the construction. In the construction we have drawn it perpendicular. So now this is, I'll call it equation 4. Now look at the obtuse angle triangle formed here. The other way, right? This formation, right? Now in that triangle, which is that EC is the, CE, right? CE is the base and D comes somewhat here. In this obtuse, now again as I said, this is an obtuse angle. That means D is a vertex, C is the base. Base has to be extended and then drop a perpendicular. That's what you see there. So this is the height. Now apply area formula. Area is equal to area of triangle CDE is equal to half into, which is the base? CE is the base. Height again the same, which is that? DN. So DN is the base. 5. Similar to what we did for equation 3, here again same. Divide equation 4 by 5. What do you get? Area of triangle ADE, I'm just repeating everything once more, divided by area of triangle CDE is equal to half into AE into DN divided by half into CE into DN. Now once more Let us simplify what looks similar. That's half and half. Gone. dn, dn. Gone. What's left out? Write this once more. I'm going to rub here, but you need to write it once more, okay? That is, this is what the equation looks like. I'll call this equation 6. Now, let us concentrate on equation 3 and equation 6 once more. I don't have it written here, but it's in your book. So once you can just go through equation 3 and compare with equation 6. Almost the right hand side is what we require. AD by BD and AE by CE, right? We have the right hand sides where we needed. On the left hand side, the numerators are same. Look at the numerator. Area of triangle ADE, area of triangle ADE. What's different? The denominators. If only we could equate the denominators, these two ratios would be equal. So let us try to equate the denominators. So let us leave all this till here, then concentrate on a different part of the main triangle. Let us come back to the main triangle. Okay, now looking at the main triangle, what can you see? I'll take that part which is a quadrilateral BDEC. What shape is that? It is a trapezium. Why is it a trapezium? Because two sides are parallel, two others are non-parallel. That's called a trapezium. I'm going to invert the trapezium completely. So what does it look like? Fine. It is BC on the top. Right? CB, you can call it CBDE, right? Looking at this trapezium right now, let us concentrate on that. Look at that. Can you see two triangles hidden there? I'm going to separate the two triangles. See, I'm separating the two triangles. One is CED, yes, and on your right side you will see BED. Both of them separated. But look at their bases. Both have the same base. Which is that? ED. Correct? ED and ED. So they both have the same base. Now, what about their heights? See, they were standing between two same parallel lines. What do you know about parallel lines? See, if two parallel lines are there, this is L1, this is L2. If I find the distance between these two, perpendicular distance between these two, I'll call the height or perpendicular. If I call this as X, I'll take another distance here. I'll call this Y. Again, I'll take a distance here between the two lines. I'll call it Z. What comment can you give about X and Y and Z? If these two lines are parallel, I'll mark it as with arrows so that you can say they are parallel. L1 parallel to L2 means X is equal to Y is equal to Z. All these three are equal. So, why do we need this? Yes, I am coming to that next. So, if there are two parallel lines like this, right? There is one triangle from here, this is one triangle, there is another triangle here, right? The height of this side triangle, this one, what is that height? Here, this is the height. So I don't have a base here, so I extend the base. This height, I'll call it as X. On the other side, there is another triangle, it also has a height. I'll extend the base, again perpendicular, this I'll call Y. Similar to the previous situation now, what about X and Y? See, these two are parallel lines. Only then it's a trapezium. Compare with L1 and L2 which I spoke just now. Here we have X and Y. They both must be same. So the heights of these two triangles are same. The heights are same, base is same. What can you say about their areas? Equal, of course, right? So let us prove that also. Let us break it down further. I am going to prove that now. First, area of triangle CDE is equal to area of triangle BDE. The reason we write here is, triangles standing on the same base and between the same two parallel lines. And I have already explained to you that if two triangles stand between the same two parallel lines, their heights must be same. So just imagine what happens here. This is half into base. What is the base? It is EC or CE into height. What is the height? Let me call it as H. Okay. Area of BDE, half into same base, which is CE. What about its height? Same height again. What is that height? Again it will be H. Since I have called this H, this is also H. Why? Parallel lines. Distance must be Same. Okay. So now you see that they both are one and the same. So you don't have to write this, you just have to note down this much and write in the bracket. Their areas are equal. I'll call this as equation 7. Now comparing equation 3, 6 and 7. Comparing equation 3, 6 and 7. Take all these three equations together and have a look. The left hand sides of equation 3 and 6. What is that? Area of triangle ADE divided by area of triangle BDE, and area of, that is from 6 I am writing now, triangle ADE by area of triangle CDE. What about these two? I have taken the left hand sides of equation 3 and equation 6. Numerators are same, area of the same triangles. And these two, from equation 7, we know that area of CDE is equal to area of BDE. So these two are also equal. If numerators are equal and denominators are equal, then the ratios must be equal. So you can say the left hand sides of equation 3 and equation 6 are same. If left hand sides are same, then so must be the right hand side. From axiom 1, things which are equal to the same things must be equal to one another. So if these two are equal, then their right hand sides are equal. Let us mention the right hand sides. What are the right hand sides? AD by BD is equal to AE by CE. This is what we wanted. Hence the proof.